I'm about to meet a couple who have very different ideas when it comes to their property. Steve reckons he can turn their recently purchased retirement-style bungalow into an open-plan contemporary home, whereas his wife Amy seems very far from convinced.
In this series, we'll show you how a group of homeowners all around the country are digging down into their basements and skyward into their lofts in an attempt to supersize their houses.
If this isn't big enough for us, then we really do have a problem.
But taking on a major building project isn't for the faint-hearted.
It's much smaller than we thought it would be.
Oh, is it?
And when it's all done, will their renovation dreams match up to reality?
They've got a picture in their head of what they want.
Big window.
Gym.
Beautiful.
Sometimes what they want isn't exactly what they can have.
Just outside Cardiff and off the M4 is the little Welsh town of Miskin. Power station engineer Steve and his wife Amy, an energy broker, moved into this two-bed bungalow a year ago. Steve thought he'd found a bargain after buying the property for £160,000.
It was ideal. It was a bungalow, it was in a nice area, and obviously more space for us, more room for Amy to make more of a mess.
But there was just one snag.
I really didn't like the house when we first saw it. It was Steve's idea to come and have a look, and I really didn't like it at all. I wanted ready built, move in, lovely house, but it's old-fashioned and not my vision of a perfect house.
But luckily, Steve had a bright idea, and he planned to convert their loft to create a huge kitchen diner in the roof and turn the ground floor into bedrooms.
Kitchen end down in this far corner. Yeah, that'll be the stairs in that corner, which will bring us up. We'll have the dining room here, probably TV and living room, and but yeah, I was thinking concertina doors open out into the garden. Tidy.
While Steve's got it all worked out in his head, his enthusiasm doesn't seem to be rubbing off on Amy.
I can't visualise the whole thing at the moment. It's so very cramped and horrible.
Whilst their conversion has a somewhat topsy-turvy feel about it, Amy's trying to put a brave face on the whole project.
The upstairs will actually be our downstairs, because we thought that we'd like our dining room to be looking out onto our lovely views from behind.
It was also a lot cheaper to do it that way as well.
But grand renovation dreams come at a price, and they've both struggled to do everything possible to fund their ambitious plans.
I've worked a lot of overtime with the goal of investing for the extension. So yeah, there's been a number of weekends when I've spent in work.
And on top of her day job, Amy's taking on an evening shift at her local pub.
I've been working 2 jobs to save up some extra cash for the project, and it will be stretching to the limit, yes, unless I can get some more shifts in the pub.
As they'll be completely gutting their bungalow, Amy and Steve are staying with their parents while all the work's going on.
Hi.
Hi, come on in.
Thanks. This is your parents' house?
Yeah, this is Mum and Dad's house.
So, are you going to be living here for the entirety of this building project?
No, we're 2 months here, and then move on to my parents' house for a further 2 months. And then we're hoping that after 4 months we would be in a position to move in.
Hopefully even sooner than 4 months.
So, OK, how much has been budgeted for this entire project?
Got a £44,000 budget, and I was hoping to save money throughout the project as well.
Most people, they have a budget and they normally end up going over. Yeah. You've got a budget and you're hoping to come in under. How are you hoping to make those savings?
By doing a lot of work myself.
Had you ever embarked on anything like this before?
Personally, no. I'd never even built the wall before. The house I lived in before was a new build. I didn't even really decorate it properly. So we got a professional company doing the loft conversion, but downstairs I'll be doing that myself.
Is it all on Steve then? It sounds and feels like it's his baby, it's his idea.
It is his baby.
But it's your home together.
You would have been happy to move into a new build house,
I would have been, yeah. But however, this is our chance to make the home that we want.
Yeah. The biggest challenge here will be budget. Because I know you're going to put all the hours that God gives you into this project, but you just got to keep it tight on the dough.
Yeah.
So for £44,000, or less in Steve's world, they hope to transform their 2-bed bungalow into a 4-bedroom house. £34,000 will be spent on the construction of the loft, and £10,000 will be spent on all the fixtures and fittings. The old roof is being replaced with a new one that's higher and wider. 3 dormer windows at the front and 1 huge dormer at the back will give them that much-needed extra space to create a large open-plan kitchen dining room with concertina doors overlooking the garden. This will free up the downstairs where Steve will be creating 4 separate bedrooms and a bathroom all by himself.
After speaking to Amy and Steve, you can clearly see that it's Steve that's driving this project. But I'm worried about what he's taking on. He's making himself responsible for the entire second fix with no prior experience. Now, that's not just painting and decorating, that's fitting kitchen, tiling, putting bathrooms in, real builder stuff. Now, I can see why he's trying to do it. He's trying to save money. But my worry is that he's going to attempt to do it and end up having to get tradesmen in, which will in effect send him back over budget.
While Steve plans to do all the work downstairs himself, the loft will be built by Alliance Lofts. Headed up by Steve's uncle Martin, they seemed like the obvious choice. So far, they've made swift progress in erecting the new roof structure. But until the supporting steel beams are in place, stability remains critical.
It's very unstable. Wind could push the roof across. It would all tumble down like a deck of cards.
Whilst Uncle Martin's been taking care of the loft, Steve's been keen to crack on with his part of the deal, the downstairs. But already, there's signs of tension between Steve and Amy.
It's going to stretch our relationship, I would have thought. I was here from 8 o'clock working, she turned up 2:15 to give me a hand. So I lost my head a bit. It's got to be a 50-50 thing, really. I am not prepared to do it all on my own.
For Martin, though, his biggest concern is the unpredictable nature of the Welsh weather, and a torrential downpour has brought all the work on the roof to a standstill.
We can't do this in heavy rain. Light rain, drizzle, yeah, OK, fair enough, but not heavy rain. It's too dangerous for the workman.
But Steve's got even bigger problems on his mind. He's realised that their old roof tiles won't match the new ones, so he's decided to replace the lot. He also wants to move a window and doorway downstairs, and all this means he's now got some very bad financial news for Amy.
At this stage in the build, £3,500 overspent, which means a lot more work for myself downstairs, try and recoup some of that money. More weekends for you as well.
OK. Extra shifts it is then.
So just 2 weeks into the build and off to her regular shift at the pub, it's not exactly the start that Amy had hoped for.
It's not too great at the moment. We've got a lot of stresses from building the house, and it's putting a strain on our relationship. It's cutting into a big chunk of our life, and going over budget, that's a bit of a stress as well.
There's now no turning back for Steve and Amy, and with their bungalow a building site, their only option is to press ahead.
So we're 5 weeks into Amy and Steve's ambitious building project. As you can see, the scaffolding's up, the roof structure is in place, including those 3 dormer windows. So let's find out if all this progress has done anything to convince Amy that this is the house she really wants.
This will be the first time Amy's been up into the loft, so I'm keen to see what she makes of what will become their new kitchen and living room.
That is bloody huge.
Told you, didn't I?
It was only like this big before.
Wow.
The last time you was up here, it was only about this much headroom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even here now, it looks like it could be an amazing living space. And
The views.
Yeah.
views in the morning, cup
The
of
sun,
tea.
yeah, the sun will be rising from that side in the morning, so hopefully I can sit by with a croissant and a coffee.
Yes.
Did you ever even have a croissant in your life?
Well, start, right?
You own this kind of living space, you just start eating French pastries. Believe me, I've seen it before. That's amazing. So, now you can see this pretty impressive space up here. Are you convinced?
Time will tell.
Oh, really? She's still not saying yes?
Please.
Goodness me.
Well, it seems that Steve still has some persuading to do, and looking around the ground floor, it's obvious he's got his work cut out.
This is really your domain, all of this, ground floor.
Yes, this is my little baby downstairs.
Little baby.
Yeah, possibly it's a bridge too far, but one of my friends, he's in the trade and he's popping back and forth. I'm using him as kind of a Yoda. You know, he's giving me all the advice.
It's Steve's baby, Steve's idea. Has he always had this drive?
Yes, he has. He's always had it with everything he's ever done, really, and I suppose that's one of the things that I like about him, I love about him.
There you go. It brings out the best and worst in people.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be the former all the way.
Steve and Amy have taken on the huge task of renovating and extending their bungalow.
It was ideal. More room for Amy to make more of a mess.
But with a limited budget, Steve has been forced to take on much of the work himself. And will Amy ever be convinced?
I can't visualise the whole thing at the moment. It's so very cramped and horrible.
Steve and Amy are nearly a third of the way through the build. But Steve's already reaching the end of his tether.
I'm not getting to see any of the soaps I used to watch. I'm not following any sport at the moment. I used to love staying in on a Sunday watching a Grand Prix. Severe hangover, sit on a settee in my pants, watch a Grand Prix all day. Now I just don't get the opportunity. It's all thinking about the house and the next step. What I would say would be study harder in school, get yourself a very well-paid job, and somebody else can do this for you.
As Amy gets stuck into pulling pints to help pay for the work, Uncle Martin's rapid progress in the loft has cheered Steve up.
It's going good, isn't it? I mean, we haven't had any fallouts.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Today, the concertina doors are being installed.
This is one of the main features of the house, so hopefully they'll fit.
Costing nearly £1,000, it's a fair few pub shifts. So hopefully Amy will like them.
They fit.
On her way back from work, Amy calls by her future home.
Because this is going to be a big bedroom, I'm suggesting we have a walk-in wardrobe,
I do have a lot of clothes.
but she never wears.
Walk-in wardrobe would be perfect, and I'll be just like Carrie off Sex and the City, hopefully.
It's actually just another excuse so I can knock a hole in the wall.
But it's the loft that is the real test. What will Amy think?
Oh, it's amazing.
So much bigger, isn't it, with the windows in?
Look at that. Ah. And it's dreams coming alive.
Steve couldn't be more relieved that Amy is now on side, but secretly, he's got major concerns about the spiralling budget.
At the moment, I'm not really sure how much over we're going to be, but we're going to be over for definite. We can't afford it, definitely not. Going to be going to see the bank manager, unless, if my father's watching this, he lends me some money.
But these fears pale into insignificance when Steve and Amy get some shocking news.
Just found out that Steve may lose his job. It's quite a big jolt. It's quite worrying, as would we be able to stay here? We're going to need to sell it, maybe rent it when we finish.
It's a bit psychologically tough, really, putting more money into the build. When possibly next year I'll be looking for a new job.
With the build now edging towards completion, it's a huge blow that they might not be able to enjoy a house they both seem to be falling in love with.
When I first met Steve and Amy, they didn't exactly fill me with confidence. Steve had hardly picked up a screwdriver before, and yet he was hoping to do most of the work himself. So, now 4 months later, I can't wait to see how they've both got on. Amy, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Beautiful day. How are you, Steve? You good?
Yeah, good, thanks, good.
This looks magnificent. It was a bungalow, now it's a house.
Yes, it's
I'm quite impressed with it, to be honest.
Now, looking around, you've still got some remnants of building materials and what have you.
Yeah, it's still very much ongoing.
Well, let's have a look, shall we?
Yeah, coming in.
I tell you what, you're going to be happy with this, aren't you?
Yeah, it's,
Wow. You're smacked in the face with this beautiful space. It is somewhere where you just want to spend all of your time, isn't it?
It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It is 100% better than I thought.
because it's upside down, we get the benefit of the views.
Breakfasts or dinners?
Coffee and a croissant?
Coffee and a croissant in the morning, yes.
You must love this, surely.
I do, yeah. I'm a lot happier than I thought I would be.
Are you?
Yeah, definitely.
You jumped in feet first.
Yeah.
I know it's not finished, but what you have done here looks great. I mean, what's this kitchen doing here? It looks fairly top end.
Yeah.
Wowzers. It's really, really bright up here. You've fitted this kitchen, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's a massive undertaking, doing your normal full-time job, but then coming here. Did you ever think, oh, I'm not getting anywhere at the moment?
Quite often, yeah. Sometimes there'd be so much to do, you'd spend the first hour walking around trying to think of what you're going to do next. It's just half of my life gone.
You must have an enormous sense of pride of what you've created so far.
Yeah. Giving them more incentive, keep on doing the work.
So, this was the big impact part of the building project. But you had to do a lot of work downstairs to create the upside-down house, didn't you? Yeah. Should we have a look, see how far you've got?
This is our master bedroom.
OK.
Our ensuite.
Hello. Very nice. Yeah, we like this.
Check out the shower if you want.
Well, I didn't bring a towel. This is wonderful.
I love it.
Well, the black sink?
That's her sole contribution.
Not.
All right. Let's get these power tools out of the way. There's work to be done down here, and quite a lot of it, isn't there?
Yeah.
But you can get in here at least. This can be your new base.
In only 6 months, Steve and Amy have transformed their property from a shabby, run-down bungalow into a chic and modern 2-storey home. They've literally turned the house upside down. The once cramped loft space has become a beautiful and spacious living area. Natural light floods in through their concertina doors overlooking the garden. And with help from family and friends, Steve and Amy have worked hard to create a stunning living space that they'll hopefully be able to enjoy for years to come.
This is probably the first time you've sat down in this room, isn't it?
First time I sat down for about 6 months, actually.
Well, you have had a very, very busy 6 months. Have you got on through it?
We've got on because we haven't seen much of each other, have we?
No, that's probably...
That's why we're probably getting on.
Now, initially, you had a budget of 44 grand.
Yeah.
And you were hoping to save money out of that, which was unique.
Yeah, it kind of didn't work out that way.
No. So. Where do you expect to be money-wise?
52.
Right.
I thought around about that figure.
Does the money aspect of this whole job worry you?
Definitely. When we first took on the project, both of us were in good, stable jobs. I've had some bad news, possibly losing my job in March next year. So a lot depends on that. Worst comes to the worst, we can always rent the property out. So we're not dead and buried as yet.
I mean, that must be potentially terribly upsetting. All the hard work you guys have put into this, and you're not going to enjoy the fruits of your labour in the short term anyway.
It is very worrying. And I've been looking for Steve, and I've been sending you jobs here, there and everywhere. But I know ultimately we will be back here.
Yes.
Or if we do have to leave, we'll definitely be back here.
So personal circumstances aside, are you glad you took on this huge project as relative novices?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, looking at it now, I'm
Really?
really happy now. I'm really proud of him.
Are you?
really proud.
It's the first time she said that.
Well, you know, you can clearly see you've put in the hard hours here. Now, if you've been inspired by what Steve and Amy have done here and would like to learn from some of their experiences, why not log on to our website at lovehome.co.uk.
I'm really looking forward to just having a normal life, walking around the house in my pants. That kind of thing, just normality really, rather than working down here every night. And even though it's not completed as yet, it's nice to sort of walk away, or sometimes I get in my car to go home and I have a little look back and think, yeah, I've done that.
I feel really proud this is my home. I can't wait to show everybody.
Well, right at the start of this journey, Steve and Amy had very contrasting opinions on their project. Well, Amy really didn't like the idea of living in a bungalow. But over time, and with all the work that Steve's put in, he's managed to win Amy round, and now she clearly loves her new home. But now Steve faces a very different challenge. It doesn't seem fair, really, that after all the hard work he's put in, they might not get to enjoy this wonderful house. But having seen the level of determination that both of them have, I'm sure they'll find a way through, and they'll both enjoy many happy moments here for years to come.